Hello. So this is a video for B2 students for the speaking exam, specifically for speaking part 1. Okay, so let me show you what I have. Speaking part 1 questions are usually about you, about your preferences, about the things you like, um, about maybe your free time activities, about your family, things like that, but things about you and your preferences. So we need some vocabulary to talk about the things we like, right? So here we have some good options. This is the present perfect tense. It's great if you can use that tense. Yeah, we want lots of diversity of tenses. So we want the past tense, yes, but present perfect tense is also great, especially the present perfect continuous if possible. Okay, so that's really good. It's easy to use this tense for saying I like. Yeah, because we can say I like sports. Easy, simple sentence. But it's better if we can use present perfect tense and just include this word always or never. We can say I've always liked sports. So it's a very simple change, but it really improves your sentences a little bit more advanced. So that's great if you can do that. Here's some more present perfect. Yep, you can maybe start like this. Ever since I was a child, right? Here you've got the Spanish. Ever since I was a child, I've always been into. Been into, that's a phrasal verb. It means like to like something a lot, basically. Yeah, maybe be passionate about something. Here we've got a comparison. I'd much rather, much rather. So we've got a nice phrase, but we've also got the adverb, which is great. Try to be descriptive, try to use adverbs. I'd much rather something than something. And then really, this is a C1 grammar concept, but it's really simple. It's so easy to remember. So sentences that start, what I like best is, what I like best is. And here we have a reflexive verb. We have myself. I enjoy myself. This is important to say pasarlo bien. We do need to have the reflexive. I enjoy myself, or my mom enjoys herself, or we enjoy ourselves. That's important. Okay. And then maybe some adverbs if possible. Here are some options, particularly. So I think we know what that means. En particular, mostly is mayormente, and although is, do you know? Okay. We also want to connect our sentences. So make sure that you're using who for people, when for time, where for places, which for objects, for things, okay? And then in order to, so that, and which is why. These are really important connectors that really, really help you. And then because we're talking about ourselves and our habits, these words are also very useful. So I very rarely, I'm currently, lately, pretty much every day, every now and then, I tend to. Okay, so let's now have a look at some questions that could appear in the exam. Okay, so practice this vocabulary at home. And here are some examples of some questions. Okay, so the first one is, what do you do in your free time? Right, so you and your preferences, your free time. Do you do any sports? Typical questions about sports. Typical questions about music, traveling, reading, right? Just the typical questions. Tell me about your family. Okay, so do you do any sports? What type of music do you listen to? Do you enjoy traveling? Do you prefer reading books or watching TV? Tell me about your family. So just the typical, right? So another really important thing to remember, something that will help you in the exam, is always try to use like maybe 2 or 3 sentences in this part. Yeah, there is no specific time limit. 2 or 3 sentences is absolutely fine. And what you can do is you can try to focus on like one or two things for every question, right? So look at this question, for example, tell me about your family. So naturally, you want to say, oh, it's me, it's my mom, it's my dad, I've got 2 sisters, and you end up, terminas, you end up doing like a list, right? Just like a list of words. And it's not good enough for B2. We have to try to use more complex words, complex phrases, right? So it's better if you just focus on maybe one thing that you said and describe it more, develop, desarrollar, right? So if I say, I live with my mom and my dad and my sister, now let's focus on my sister. Yeah, let's talk about my sister. Maybe talk about the things that you do with your sister, the relationship you have, right? Maybe try to develop it a little bit more. So we could say maybe, so I'm currently living at home with my mom, my dad, and my sister. I've got a great relationship with my sister. She's a little bit older than me. We spend a load of time together, and we get on really well. Yeah. So if you focus on one thing, you will find more opportunities to use more complex vocabulary. Okay, so that's something really to think about. And here we've got some answers to some questions, right? Trying to use some of the vocabulary. So the vocabulary above, arriba, the vocabulary above should be easy to use in the exam, right? You can always use this vocabulary, no problem. We always say, I like, yeah? So it's really useful vocabulary. Here, the first one, what do you do in your free time? So what I like best is to immerse myself in a good book or catch up on the latest movies, right? Movies or films. We can British English films, movies, American, doesn't matter. Catch up. So we've got phrasal verb. Do you know what catch up means? Catch up. Catch up means ponerme al día, basically, something like that. So, in the first sentence, I basically say my idea or I answer the question. So books and films, yeah? But with a good phrase, what I like best. Yeah. So now I'm going to focus on films so that I can really expand my answer and try to find some better sentences. Okay. So maybe some present perfect. I haven't watched a movie for a while, but the last one I watched, so we've got some present perfect and we have some past tense, which is good. But the last one I watched was, and then maybe describe the film. Yeah. Was about a spaceship that crashed on an unknown planet and the team had to try to survive. It was pretty good. Yeah. So if you want to use basic adjectives like good, interesting, boring, at least, por lo menos, at least try to use an adverb, right? With that basic adjective. Okay. Next one. Do you do any sports? I do exercise pretty much every day. And ever since I was a child, I've done some kind of sport. Lately, this should have a comma. Anyway, lately, I've been running a lot and also playing some tennis. I'd much rather be doing something active than being at home watching TV. Okay, so there are a few good things about this. We've got some adverbs. Yeah, not just every day, pretty much every day. So it's more complex. Yeah, it's better for B2. And here, ever since, these are also adverbs. Ever since I was a child. Present perfect tense, and then an adverb. And here, what tense is this? Do you recognize this? This is the present perfect continuous. Yeah. So that's great if you can do that. Present perfect continuous is perfect for words like lately, últimamente, right? To say, continuing now. But, I started and I'm still, sigo haciendo. I'm still doing this activity. And then we have another phrase here. I'd much rather be doing, right? Than, so you've got comparison. Again, is so important at B2 to use correctly the gerunds and the infinitive. So important at B2. And then one more. What type of music do you listen to? I'm open to all different genres of music, which is why I listen to a wide range of different artists. I'm particularly into older songs, mostly songs from the 90s because they remind me of my childhood. I tend to listen to a lot of Take That and other bands from that era. Okay, so again, you've got a good connector here. You've got nice phrases. This is phrasal verb be, into, and you've got an adverb, another adverb. This is a great phrase. People don't use it too much, so it's great if you can use phrases which are different to like other candidates. And that's it really. You've got 3 more questions here. Maybe you can do them at home, think about your answers, and you can use the vocabulary here. So this link, I will put it in the comments or in the description or both, okay? So you can open this document, no problem. You can download it totally free. And that is it. So I hope that was useful, and just let me know if you have any questions.